What's up, Internet, and welcome to Super Smash Bros. Wii U Weekly. I'm Hollander Cooper.
And I'm Henry Gilbert.
And this week we're talking about the dirty three-letter abbreviation word.
FBI?
No.
CIA?
Yes. No. DLC.
Okay.
So, DLC in Smash Bros. Obviously, a lot of people are probably going to say, well, it's Nintendo. Of course there's not going to be a DLC. But that's not really the Nintendo of 2014.
Mm-hmm. That is the Nintendo of even like 2010, but
or
it's not,
2013.
Yeah, kind of, but not today.
Yeah, so I mean, Mario Golf, the 3DS version, has a season pass, which is something I didn't even think that we'd ever see Nintendo go that far. Pikmin has a bunch of DLC, so Nintendo has fully embraced a downloadable content-filled future. And again, before you jump in and say, oh, Nintendo wouldn't do it for Smash Brothers, let's consult the booming godlike voice of Sakurai.
At the current time, I have no plans. I consider my job at this point and my main responsibility to make the Wii U and 3DS versions the best and fullest experience possible. That said, once finished, it's the type of thing we could take into consideration. But for now, you could consider DLC as not being in the cards.
So, as he said, not against it, and I've seen plenty of developers in similar situations just flat out say no, which leads me to believe that it is still on the table.
Yeah, well, and Sakurai has enough power, it would seem, that if he wanted to just say, no, I'm not doing it, like, he'd say it. Like, there's been multiple things in the past where when people have asked him, hey, would you do this? Or he would just answer fan outreach of just like, hey, would you do this? Like, no, we're not. And this guy's still a trophy. This power-up's not changing. Stuff like that.
He's being pretty honest about the way 2014 gaming works. When he was asked about patches, he kind of gave the same thing where he's like, we're going to do our best to not need to balance the game, but if something's broken, we're going to fix it. But yeah, so DLC, though it's not currently being planned, is still, I mean, any developer you ask, are you going to make DLC? Almost all of them will say like, well, we're committed to working on the game we're doing now, so don't ask us about that. We haven't even thought of it. AKA, we have just a binder right here full of it. But leads us to wondering, what kind of stuff do you think we're going to see in DLC? I personally wouldn't want there to be new characters, but I also wouldn't necessarily be for as much as I could say like, no, it would splinter the community, if like 6 months after launch, they're like, yo, here's Ridley, I'd be like, Ridley's in the game. Like, I'm not gonna say no, but I do think that it probably isn't the path they're gonna take.
Well, that would involve on-disc DLC, which I don't think Sakurai's into either.
They can do downloadables.
I do, yeah, but I think in the past we've seen on-disc DLC because that is a tech wall you hit.
Right. If
the characters aren't on the disc, then it makes it much harder to put new characters in a fighting game. Like, that's what happened with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, you know? And I also would think that while Nintendo's DLC mentality has shifted since then, or recently,
right.
I still think they're in the mind of like, we will not charge you for a thing that we put on a disc.
Yeah, I think that's safe. So what kind of stuff do you think that we might see as DLC?
Well, I could definitely see them taking the path that's so popular now in MOBAs, which is just a skin, like a changed skin. Costumes for the characters. Like, I can't see them changing power outlays because as he explained in the direct not too long ago, that like you could change abilities and stuff for your homegrown characters, but you can't take them online.
Right.
So I think, like, for example, I miss Dr. Mario. I would love to see him come back.
Who doesn't miss Dr. Mario?
And so if they could give just a Mario skin that is Dr. Mario, that'd be fine, even if his pill move did the exact same amount of damage as a fireball instead of different like it did in Melee. Like, I'd just be happy to see him there.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people say that, I mean, we've already seen some instances where you have the male and the female Wii Fit trailer. Obviously, Nintendo is up for making some more significant changes to the character models than they have in the past. I've seen a lot of commenters that point out you don't even need to put Ridley in the game. If you just make Ridley a different version of Charizard, he could basically have the same moves. He's a dragon. Like, Nintendo could really open up a huge amount of characters to be like, well, we're gonna put Ness in the game, but we're not gonna put Lucas. But guess what? Boom, they're the same character now. That could be an easy way to address clones, and if they end up saying no Captain Falcon, but yes Ganon, or the other way around, they can just make the other one a skin. And then I mean, hopefully they just give it all for free, and each game comes with 6 other copies of the games, and a free Wii U, and a GameCube controller that works on the Wii U, because God knows we're not going to use the gamepad to play it. But in the real world, some stuff might end up being charged for, and even though I'd rather it not be, I'm not going to say no.
Well, Nintendo's in a difficult financial situation right now. Well, I mean, like, they're not going broke or anything, but they could use games that make them more money.
If I was to say what Nintendo needs more than anything, it's making money would be great. Mm-hmm. I'm sure their investors would love that.
And so, and they definitely are in the mood of like re-releasing things to their base. Like those GBA games coming out on the Wii U, that's meant to sell to the base they've got already, not really to pull in more people. And that's the same deal with Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers will sell a lot of Wii U's, I bet, but only to the people who were just holding out for Smash Brothers, not people who were like, oh, what's this Wii U thing? I haven't heard of this. And so if you add $5 for a bunch of new costumes, boom, that's a crap load more money you just made off these people when you sold them a complete game too. Like, I wouldn't feel ripped off personally.
Yeah, and I mean, we're getting a new Smash Brothers, so I'm already so excited at that I feel like them trying to, especially if it's like skins, stuff that I technically don't need, I'm not gonna be too upset. Let us know in the comments below what you'd like to see as DLC, or just do what I expect you to do and be like, no, that'll ruin the game! Just keys flying, you're just punching your keyboards, get a new keyboard halfway through. Just let us know in the comments and also give us your caption for this week's screenshot of the week.
Here's the screenshot of the day. Look at this screenshot, this wonderful screenshot today.
Now, Thomas, our video editor, make sure you choose a good one. I've seen some people complain in the comments that the screenshot of the week hasn't been great recently. Which is crazy, because last week's screenshot of the week was phenomenal. But leave your caption to this one below, and we'll read it at the end of the next episode. And after this episode, once we finish talking and all that stuff, and once I stop randomly talking a little longer just to make the video guy spend a little longer editing this video.
All right, let's jump into the captions from last week's screenshot of the week, and it was a good one. Andy Gamer said, Peach, we're the 3 Musketeers. Yay! Marth, I don't like it. Toon Link, oh boo-hoo, you should try being me. My ears are way bigger compared to yours. Chris Laskin said, Toon Link, I wonder what Peach thinks of my ears. Peach, I wonder what Marth thinks of my tail. Marth, I think they both look ridiculous. I look perfect though. Leaf, they all stink. Chris says, did you hear that? We can play Smash Bros. On the Wii U at Best Buy? Marth, what are we waiting for? Let's go! Peach, not now, silly. It's in June. Toon Link and Marth. Wait a second, 1 more month? No! And Abu Sisay wrote, Raccoon Party, which is technically a caption. But it's not like a quote about it. So that's it. Be sure to check back every week and see if yours caption made it onto the screenshot of the week caption contest thing. We'll talk to you next week.